Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.
Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
Folks, today is Thursday, July 17, 2025. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. Democrats in the Senate walk out of a hearing where Republicans won't even allow them to share their thoughts about one of the most despicable federal judges Donald Trump has ever appointed. We'll show you what took place. Also, Senate Democrats vote 51-48 to cut funding for NPR and public broadcasting PBS. Republicans are ecstatic because they've been crying about, oh my God, they're so against us for so long. They're idiots. Also, how dumb is Donald Trump's prosecutors? They literally want a cop who was found guilty of the death of Breonna Taylor to serve 1 day in jail. 1 day in jail. Yep, that's real. Also, Tuberville, we know he's an idiot. He literally says if you want to hang around illegals, you should be deported too. This guy's just dumb. We'll show you that whole deal as well. So, plus we'll talk about what happens when you're in prison and you got to make phone calls. Why does it cost so much? Well, Democrats cut those fees. Republicans now say, nah, what the hell? Charge them out the wazoo. We're talking to the FCC Commissioner who was on the commission who actually pushed this through. Folks, it's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, y'all. It's Roland Martin.
I've told y'all many times Republicans don't give a damn about rules or customs. They do whatever it is they want to do. And today, in the Senate Judiciary Committee, same thing happened. Normally, when you vote on advancing judges, both sides get to talk. Republicans are like, you know what? We don't want to hear what y'all have to say. That pissed off Democrats. So they literally walked out of the meeting. And Senator Cory Booker laid into them. Watch this.
To pass jurisdiction and pass precedent. Why are you doing this? This is outrageous.
This is a kangaroo court. That's all we have here, Mr. Chairman.
This is wrong. To violate your own rules without going by the mandates of the parliamentarian. This is unbelievable. There's a way to do this. If you want to force this through, if you want to ram this through, there's a way to do it in accordance to the rules as spelled out by the parliamentarian. It is simple. It is clear. There's a pathway to achieve what you're trying to achieve. But, sir, this lacks decency. It lacks decorum. It shows that you do not want to simply hear from your colleagues. This is absolutely wrong. And, sir, this is to me one of those moments where we are not showing common respect for each other on both sides. I have sat here when we were in the majority and listened to my colleagues' arguments, listened to their passionate statements, and then we voted. This is not that. This is us simply trying to rush through one of the most controversial nominees we've had under this presidential administration. Sir, God bless America. You are a good man. You are a decent man. Why are you doing this? What is Donald Trump saying to you that are making you do something which is violating the decorum of this committee, the rules of this committee, the decency and the respect that we have each other to at least hear each other out? I've sat through so many long speeches of my colleagues, heard their objections, listened with sincerity to try to see what their arguments are. But we are not doing that. Sir, this is wrong, and you know it. There are some people on this committee who are the least firebrand people. and they've walked out. Some of the least controversial people in the Senate, some of the people that worked the hardest to find bipartisan common ground have just walked out of this committee. And you don't even seem to care, but I know you do. I know your heart, Senator Grassley. This is wrong. I know the kind of person you are, and you know this is wrong. This is not necessary. What is another half an hour to allow senators to be heard? It's what the Constitution mandates. It's the ideals of the United States Senate. The world's most deliberative body should take a decent amount of time to deliberate. But here we're not doing that. Here we are jamming this through with some sense of false urgency. It's one thing not to hear from whistleblowers. It's another thing not to hold another hearing, but to not even allow my colleagues to have their moment to speak against this justice is just wrong. And I know you know this. I know you know this. The only time this rule has ever been overturned by both parties was done when one minority was trying to pull some stunt to stop the committee from hearing. This is not that. This is not the 2-hour rule. This is a basic element of the ideals of this committee, sir. It is the basic understanding of having debate and deliberation. It's a basic understanding of we can listen to each other even if we disagree, that we should have time and space and a forum to listen. Sir, this is just wrong in every way. It is wrong in every single way. This is an abuse of power. It's an undermining of the well-being and the integrity of this Senate and this committee that I for so long, I've been so honored to be a part of. This is wrong, sir, and I join with my colleagues in leaving. This is a sham.
Vote.
This is wrong.
We'll report.
We're better than this.
Pratt to the floor. Now we'll have.
Folks, my panel. Dr. Nola Haynes, Georgetown University School of Foreign Service. Dr. Greg Carr, Department of Afro-American Studies, Howard University. Reese Colbert, host of the Reese Colbert Show, Sirius XM Radio. This is real simple for me, Reese. Listen, you walked out, okay? Let's just real clear. Republicans don't give a damn about the rules. They're not going to play by the rules. I keep trying to explain to people this. Democrats can yell and scream, oh, my God, this is not right, this is not right. You know, they're the rules. When they get power, they don't care. So here's the question, Democrats. How are you going to penalize them? Those Democrats that walked out, are they going to say, you know what? Guess what? No nominations move forward. No appointments move forward. I'm putting a hold. Same thing Tommy Tuberville did. Same thing Rand Paul did. Same thing they do. How are you going to use the rules to say, you know what? I'm going to slow everything down in the U.S. Senate. It's going to come to a screeching halt. That's all I want to know. Okay, I don't want to hear another damn speech. I appreciate what Senator Cory Booker had to say, and that's fine. But we know exactly why they didn't want Democrats to talk. We know they didn't want them ripping into email bowl. We know they didn't want them showing how grossly unqualified and corrupt this man is. And don't be shocked if Trump tries to put him on the Supreme Court. But the bottom line is this here. Senate Democrats, you have to make them pay. And you must make them pay every single day, Reese.
You know, you talk about Democrats and you talk about Senate Democrats. They can't bust a grape. Like, that was ridiculous. Senator Cory Booker, how are you complimenting them in the middle of protesting? Oh, you're a good man. I know you care. No, the fuck they don't. And they're not good people. And I wish that they would stop this my friend bullshit and just rip into them. I don't know how you walk out, but you give a whole speech that's trying to appeal to their better angels, which they're big-ass demons. So I feel like, you know, the other people have the right idea by just walking out. Go ahead and finish your speech outside instead of dignifying that. And the last thing I'll say is, listen, I don't think that Democratic voters really give a damn about rules like that. Not as much as Senate Democrats or even House Democrats do. What Democrats care about is results. And they're tired of constantly hearing excuses as to why the rules prevent them from getting results. Then when Republicans get in, they say to hell with all that shit, and they ram through their agenda. And so, you know, as much as I would like to give grace to Senator Cory Booker, that is a prime example of why Democrats lose. That's a prime example of why people are dissatisfied with the non-fighting spirit of Democrats. And that's a prime example of how we are bringing a knife to a gunfight.
I'm just sitting here and look, if you're gonna sit there, you should have just called them each by name. You should have sat there and said, Shame on you, Grassley. Shame on you, Lindsey Graham. Shame on you, John Cornyn. Shame on you, Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, Josh Hawley. Should name all of them. And you should have said, I'm telling you right now, I'm coming after every single one of y'all, and I'm going to shut everything down. I'm sorry. If you're not going to retaliate, Nola, all you're doing is just flapping your gums. Nola, if you don't hit that damn mute button, we go through this every single week. How in the hell your computer says on, off, on, off? Mic is a slash in the mic. It's a not.
Wait,
how
last time
do
it
you
wasn't
not?
my fault. This was my fault. This time it was my fault. Last time it wasn't my fault. I take that L. But as I was saying,
welcome
so
back.
Eloquently. Thank you, boo.
Yeah, as you were saying, which nobody knows what the hell you were saying.
Well, let me get to it, sir. Thank you. Okay, so I saw two things. I saw a man's heart breaking for the statesmanship, for something that he clearly cares a great deal about. That's one thing that I saw. And then another thing that I saw was a strategy that does not work, appealing to their better natures. You know, it's people that have access to the Hill. Roland, you know this. Everybody here knows this. What happens performatively is not necessarily what happens behind the scenes. So my thing is, okay, if you're going to use strategy appealing to his better nature, I want you to call out that moment when y'all had that conversation about what was said in private, if that's going to be the strategy that you're going to use. Because just appealing to him about, I know that you're better than this, you know that this is wrong. Why does he know that is wrong? Tell us specifically what you are talking about. Because this particular plan of attack, it just makes Senator Booker look like, you know, he's not understanding the assignment. And I know very well he understands the assignment. But mostly what I heard, and I'm not going to sit here and lie, I heard someone's heart breaking for the complete breakdown of the democratic system. And it is heartbreaking. You know, I've dedicated my life studying, you know, political science. This is my life. This is my world. So I get it. But to Reese's point, what we need right now, we need gunslingers, you know, and I understand Senator Booker's hesitancy in trying to hold on to that statesmanship, but that ship has long sailed. Okay, they are appointing a shameful, despicable person in Emil Bove. They don't care, Greg. And so all this statesman, they don't care about collegiality. They don't care about the rules. Their whole deal was, hey, we want that thug on a federal bench. We don't want you guys ripping into him because we don't want it playing on television. So we're just going to shut you up. They showed you who they are. So guess what you now say? I am going to make you pay. I am going to bring this sucker to a halt. You shut it down. But no, they just threaten. And when they got the power, they don't do it. Oh, no, our colleagues, you know, we do the right thing. Hell no. I have long been saying you have to make them pay.
Yes, sir. You're right. And you're right. Of course, they can't. God bless Cory Booker. He won't. He's a decent human being. Chuck Grassley, on the other hand, a hard white nationalist, who is, I think his last birthday was 150,000 years old, who is being eviscerated in his home state of Iowa at the town halls, who doesn't appear to know where he is most of the time, but who is functioning very efficiently as a tool of open white nationalism. Of course, he's going to ignore Cory Booker. They can't stop this right now. Emil Bove is a particularly nasty piece of work, a failure as a lawyer, who has been put in place exactly for the reason that you mentioned earlier, which is ultimately to be advanced to the Supreme Court of the United States, which is where the real fight will be. The names you listed, Roland, on the U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary, if there's a parallel at all, it's not perfect, but it's close enough, it's House Oversight. So you've got, you know, Cro-Magnon, Marjorie Taylor Greene. You've got, of course, Jasmine Crockett. Well, that counterpart is the Judiciary Committee. Everyone you name is a hard white nationalist. You know, Lindsey Graham, the completely supple, soft, compliant Lindsey Graham. Mike Lee, Ted Cruz, hardcore white nationalist. Young Josh Hawley, who is now this feckless man trying to claw back some of the Medicaid that he voted to take away. Now he wants to bring it back. Tom Tillis, who straight ass quit rather than face his Lord and Master, Jesus Trump. John Kennedy, the fake foghorn leghorn out of Louisiana. Marsha Blackburn, that nasty piece of work out of Tennessee. Eric Schmidt, a straight fascist ideologue out of Missouri. Katie Britt, whose stupidity is only surpassed by her colleague, Mr. Coates Tuberville out of Alabama, and Ashley Moody, young Ashley Moody out of Florida. Their job is to be the hardcore white nationalist intellectuals' tip of the spear when it comes to the evisceration of the judiciary. They have one job and one job only, which they achieved today, which is get Emile Beauvais, the man who let Eric Adams off the hook in New York, the man who lost every damn case he's been in defending Trump, including the one in New York. Emile Beauvais' job is to get on the Supreme Court. Donald Trump's job is to put him there. And Donald Trump, it ain't his idea. This is all about hardcore white nationalism. How do you stop it? You get your ass out, check your registration, and vote to break their political backs, because Beauvais is going to be on the Third Circuit. And once he's on the Third Circuit, the real show will be when they bring him back and nominate him for the Supreme Court. Because if you don't think those phone calls haven't been made to Sammy the Bull Alito and Mr. RV, Mr. Wholly Owned Subsidiary of Billionaires, Clarence Blackface White Nationalist Thomas, then you're not paying attention. That will be where the fight will be, and you can stop him dead in his tracks then. But that's going to require a little voting in the next election, the midterm election.
These people are thugs. They do not care. And you have to penalize them. You must eviscerate them. You must go after them. And I'm telling you right now, this is real simple. Dick Durbin, do you have the guts? Amy Klobuchar, do you have the guts? Sheldon Whitehouse, do you have the guts? Cory Booker, do you have the guts? I can go on and on and on and name every single Democrat on this committee, but the question is, do you have the fight in you? Senator Chuck Schumer, I don't want to see another lame bullshit speech on the floor. I want to know, are you going to pay? I want to know, is a Democrat going to go to the floor and say, I'm shutting this shit down? I'm putting a hold on every single confirmation, every single nomination. I'm going to make y'all have to go through every procedure to get anything passed. Do you mean to tell me there's not one Senate Democrat that has the guts to do that? Brian Schatz, where you at? Gillibrand, where you at? Warnock, where you at? Also Brooks, where you at? These people sat here and said, nah, y'all ain't even talking. Y'all ain't even speaking. I'm shutting it down. Booker, you can sit over there and talk. Go on, keep calling the roll. We don't give a damn if that Negro over there talking. Keep calling the roll. That's literally what they did. And if they allow this to move forward, yeah. No. See, this is why people are saying, listen, weaknesses going on here. Black Pac has a new poll out we're going to talk about a little bit later that shows that black folks are ripping Trump and they ain't got no confidence that Democrats got any fight in them. What does Deion Sanders say? He said, I'm recruiting some folks that got some dog in them. They ain't got no dog. They ain't trying to swing at all. They are, no, Mike. No, I know your heart. You're a good man. You're great. I love it. I know your heart. You know this is not right. And old ass Grass is like, yeah, keep calling them names. Yeah, I ain't listening to his ass. Yeah, he don't mean nothing. He don't mean nothing. He don't mean nothing. And they all said that. They all said, look at him like, look at his ass. Yeah, keep talking. They like, yeah, we got the votes. Keep talking. Keep running your mouth. The only way you stop people is when you make them pay. You have to pump.
Who does Cory Booker think wants that? Who does he, like, you giving a whole grand speech about, I know your heart, I know you a good man. Who do you think wants that? Because none of the polls are saying, I know the focus groups aren't saying it. So I'm just confused as to why he continues this nice guy act when that ain't what people are looking for right now.
You're not confused. And know what it is.
So I'm just not playing this game with him. And I'm telling you, you have to make them pay. And I just want to know. I just want to know, are they going to say, I'm shutting everything down, I'm bringing it to a screeching halt? If y'all ain't willing to do that, that walkout, that's a waste of damn time. Y'all just, that didn't mean nothing. I'm going to go to a break. We come back. This is more the bullshit of Trump. We told y'all this during the campaign. We told y'all what the man said. We played y'all what he said. He said, I am going to give a cops 100% immunity. Well, guess what? His prosecutors are saying the cop who was convicted in Breonna Taylor's death, he should spend 1 day in jail. We're going to discuss it next. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network.
This week on The Other Side of Change.
We're digging into the immigration crisis that's happening here right now.
It can impact each and every one of us. We're going to break down the topic of this constitutional crisis that is being led by the Trump administration and what you, as ordinary citizens, can do to speak up and speak out to fight back. This is The Other Side of Change, only on the Black Star Network.
My name is Lena Charles, and I'm from Opelousas, Louisiana. Yes. That is Zydeco capital of the world.
My name is Margaret Chappelle. I'm from Dallas, Texas, representing the Urban Trivia Game.
It's me, Sherry Shepherd, and you know what you watch.
Roland Martin on Unfiltered.
All right, folks, after 5 years, the Department of Justice is recommending that a former police officer in Louisville, Kentucky, who was convicted of violating Breonna Taylor's civil rights when she was shot and killed by cops in 2020, serve just 1 day in jail. 1 day. Brett Hankerson, a former Louisville officer, was found guilty last year on one count of depriving Taylor of her civil rights after firing multiple shots through a bedroom window during a botched police raid. The proposed 1 day sentence would amount to time served, meaning Hankerson would not return to jail. Spent 10 months in jail. Taylor's death became a flashpoint for the Black Lives Matter movement and one of several high-profile cases that ignited nationwide protests against police violence in 2020. Now, again, he wasn't convicted of murder. And keep in mind, you had hung juries. Then, of course, this took place on the federal level. Well, here's what's so crazy about this, that none of the prosecutors, none of the career prosecutors signed this deal. This is one of Trump's appointees that did so. Because it goes to show you what he already said. They want to let cops off. They want to let them off. This is what they do. And it's shameful and despicable. Joining us right now, one of the family attorneys for the Breonna Taylor family, Alina Baker, managing partner, Baker & Westbrook. How are you? How you doing?
Well, I've been better. I'll say that. But today's been a rough day.
Absolutely. So again, say time served. So how many months has this officer been in jail?
He's not been in jail for any months. He has only served, the 1 day is when he went to get booked, posted his bond, did the paperwork, and got out. So he's only been in jail probably less than 2 hours. And that's what the prosecutors are his sentence to be.
So when the prosecutors say time served, what the hell does that mean?
Those few hours that he did, that's it. It's a slap in the face to the work that the career prosecutors have done. You know, I do want to acknowledge and commend Kristen Clark, the prior Assistant Attorney General, and her career prosecutors, Mike Songer and Anna Gottfried, who worked very hard to get the convictions of this conviction of Brett Hankerson. 2 trials, because the first was a hung jury, and then securing the conviction back in November. They worked hard. They are not the individuals who signed this memorandum. They changed prosecutors yesterday, and the prosecutor who signed this memorandum did not even have the decency, was such a coward that he could not even talk to Breonna's family.
So this is also a coward, Harmeet Dillon. She is the person Trump nominated as the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights. She was the one asking the judge in this case to sentence him to 1 day in prison. This is the New York Times story. This is what she wrote. She, first of all, called this excessive. She called the prosecution excessive. Quote, in this case, 2 federal trials were ultimately necessary to obtain a unanimous verdict of guilt. Well, that happens. The jury's verdict will almost certainly ensure that the defendant, Hankerson, never serves as a law enforcement officer again, and will also likely ensure that he never legally possesses a firearm again. Oh, well, excuse the hell out of us. Of course, he's now a felon. He was fired from his job 5 years ago. And she literally goes, oh, he's paid a substantial penalty for his actions.
It's horrible. He shouldn't be able to have a firearm. He shouldn't be able to serve as law enforcement. He terrorized the streets of Louisville, Kentucky for way too long, and he finally got his just due. And what he is being sentenced for is violating the civil rights of Breonna Taylor. They made so many mentions of he did not kill her. He was not charged with killing her. He was charged with violating her civil rights. And a jury, an all-white jury, found that there was sufficient evidence to convict him, and they did. And what's interesting is, according to the sentencing report from probation and parole, the guidelines, what he should be facing, and what I hope the judge does sentence him to on Monday, is between 135 months and 168 months. I had to get my calculator out, divide those by 12, and we got 11 and a half years to 14 years is what he should be looking at. But here you have prosecutors playing politics and asking for 1 day. And I just hope the judge sees through this and gives this family the justice that they deserve.
Yeah, and actually, when you look at the total numbers, he actually faces a maximum sentence of life in prison. I mean, that's what the maximum could be, but you have sentencing guidelines. And the reality is this here, which we might as well understand is going to happen. If this judge ignores Trump's DOJ, sentences him, we know Trump is going to pardon him. Yeah. But with that being said, this judge should still tell Trump's DOJ to go to hell.
Yeah, I agree. And if they want to let him go, they need to do it. They have put this judge in an unfair position to say, give him 1 day, to deviate so drastically from the sentencing guidelines, which that's what this system that's not even meant for us in the beginning is supposed to be, They justify the discrepancies in crack and cocaine because of sentencing guidelines, right? They live by these sentencing guidelines, but here they want you to deviate so substantially to go from 11 and a half years being the minimum in the guidelines to 1 day. They're putting the judge in a horrible position. And if you want to let him out, if Trump's DOJ wants to let him out, it needs to be Trump that does that, not this judge.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reality of what we're dealing with. We talk about what happens in so many of these cases. And it's absolutely frustrating when it happens. I look at another case, former Philadelphia police officer Mark Dial, who fatally shot a person, was released on parole after he was sentenced. It got, the dude... I mean, again, same thing. What happened in that particular case? They're like, well, my partner said he had a gun, but he didn't. Mistakes happen. The guy ends up dead. And it's kind of like, what? This guy served 10 months in prison for voluntary manslaughter, and now he walks out. I mean, this is what goes to show what people are fighting about. This also says what happens in this country, where you have these folks on the right. They do not believe cops should pay any price for what took place. So whether it is Hankerson, whether it is Mardal, they don't care. They want to let people off. And you know what? For all of these black folks who were sitting here talking all that crap, people like Dr. Umar Johnson, who was saying that, Trump and Kamala, they're the same. Do you actually think President Kamala Harris's DOJ will be recommending 1 day in jail for Brett Hankerson? I don't think so.
Yeah. And it's absolutely true. And it's one of the, you said you warned the people. I warned the people. I said we cannot afford to have a Trump DOJ. Everything that we fought for from 2020 through now, The consent decree, that's been overturned, or the DOJ said, we're not abide by it, judge, just do away with it. And now here we have this conviction that was secured. So much work that was done by the Civil Rights Division during the Biden administration that people were just willing to throw away because they didn't like, policies all the way around. And this is what happens when we get so focused on one issue. Those things that we've been fighting about get thrown to the side, and criminal justice, holding the police accountable, that Kristen Clark's Civil Rights Division did just that. And this DOJ is now doing everything that they can to undo everything that she worked so hard to secure and to protect Black and brown people.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's sad, it's despicable, and people just need to understand that when we spent so much time talking about the importance of voting, and then you had all of these idiots, tangibles, what are tangibles? Well, guess what? Kristen Clark, being the head of the Civil Rights Division, the Department of Justice, that was a damn tangible. Getting these convictions, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, that was a damn tangible. But those same people are silent as hell right now. They are real silent right now about stuff like this. They're real silent about Trump getting rid of the consent decrees. They're real silent about all these actions that they're taking that are anti-Black, but these are so-called hotep Black conscious folk. That's what they claim to be, but they're silent right now. And then they say, oh, well, y'all were just saying that stuff because, well, we didn't think it was going to happen. Well, guess what? And we're only 6 months in. We still got 3.5 more years of this absolute idiot being in the White House.
Yeah, and we've not figured out how to fight it. Not saying we, but people have not figured out how to fight. What are we doing to combat this attack on Black and brown people? It's strong. He's doing exactly what he said he would do. And Dems are sitting on their hands trying to figure out, what do we do? And it's like, fight back. Fight back.
Yep. Absolutely. Anita Baker, we appreciate it. Please give Breonna Taylor's mother our regards.
Thank you.
To my panel, Greg, I mean, we walk through this every single day. And that was a drop off of Black voter participation. And then you had a whole bunch of loud, ignorant, dumbass Black people who were sitting here on social media, on YouTube, running their mouths, don't vote, tangibles. If they don't give us this, we ain't voting. No, we survived slavery. We survived the last 4 years of Trump. We can survive 4 more years. What these idiots don't understand is that Emil Bove nomination, they are relishing putting Klansmen, white supremacists, on the Supreme Court. They can't wait to replace Alito and Clarence Thomas with a 45 or 48-year-old federal judge who is going to be so hard right that they so far right they'll be damn near left. These folks, they want to shut it all down. I have consistently said they want to defund Black America. They want to strip everything when it comes to civil rights. They want to strip economic rights. They want it all.
They absolutely do. And I confess, I say it consistently. I confess to having a bit of, I'm enthusiastic. I won't call it euphoric yet. Those of my friends who are well-studied, as our friend Gerald Horn calls them, our friends on the left, whose basic argument for saying that we live in a duopoly and voting doesn't matter in those contexts, that this has to get worse before it gets better. Well, that's the theory that we're in now. They're absolutely Klan. They're absolutely Klan. Harmeet Dillon, another nasty piece of work heading the Civil Rights Division. Her little friend, her in-house counsel who pushed this forward, they're Klan adjacent. And I think that I agree with those who would argue that this is all part of a larger strategy, which is to try to force us into the street and confrontation. This is what deploying the Marines in California is about. This is what these nasty provocations are about. Now, I'm not really enthusiastic about beating up on the Democrats, and I'll tell you why. Because they seem to believe that this is a country. And people get a little irritated when I say it's not a nation. It's a state with a lot of different nations in it. The illusion that the United States of America, that you people who live here are a people, constitute a people. Someone please show me somewhere in the history where that's true, and I'm willing to rethink what I'm thinking, but I haven't seen it yet, and I doubt I will see it. People who seem to think that somehow white supremacy can be overcome by finding common ground. You don't understand white supremacy. You really don't. That's why the people are saying MAGA is fighting itself. No, blood calls blood, blood answers. Their Trump may not be the Superman they had hoped him to be, but they're always going to pick him right or wrong with a 6-year-old sitting in his lap over you. So don't try to appeal to any logic. What we're seeing here is a provocation. They know exactly what they're doing. Expecting a judge to rule differently, I think there are two ways that can cut finally. If this judge does say, no, I'm going to give them substantially more time, it could extend the possibility that the rule of law could kick in, but that also extends the illusion, the delusion somehow that African people have in this country that there is a solution to this that's going to allow them to sit on the sidelines. Alternatively, if the judge takes the recommendation, and this is indeed what happens, and make no mistake, exactly what you said, Trump's going to pardon him. He'll be back on law enforcement somewhere. And if he's not on law enforcement, he'll be on somebody's private security detail, maybe Stephen Miller or somebody, or, don't worry, they're going to take care of Brett Hankerson, that nasty little piece of work. But either way, we're going to have to fight. That is what our ancestors did a day after Ida B. Wells' birthday yesterday. We've got to fight. And that fighting isn't just in the ballot box. That fighting may end up being in the street. But this confrontation is going to be unavoidable. The United States of America is going to fall apart. They are now pressing the gas pedal. And in pressing the gas pedal, they're going to realize that the rest of us may try to play nice, but once this facade falls, the confrontation is going to leave in its wake a very different country than we live in. And those of you who think that I'm talking big enough, you don't know enough history to even have this argument with me. I'm very clear about what's happening now. So I kind of have a little bit of an enthusiasm because it was going to come to this one day, either way.
Reese, and I've seen this in other group chats. Folks like, oh, they're trying to bait us, But you know what? Whether folk want to own it or not, when them Latinos fought back against ICE, people responded. See, we know he wants to invoke the Insurrection Act. We know this. But they are counting on people being afraid. They're counting on people being too scared. And if there was ever a moment where they have to be met with massive protests, this is that moment. But it cannot be gathering just for the hell of it. It has to be not, well, we're going to be in this city or we're going to have this protest. No. It has to be a strategic protest that is around voting. See, you've got mayoral elections in New Orleans in the fall. You've got the Virginia House and Senate race. You have to make them pay politically. And so you must be utilizing protests that, first of all, mobilizes people. Then once you mobilize them, you organize them, and now you direct them to a certain thing. But these people cannot believe that they have a free license to do what they're doing.
And they do have a free license to do what they're doing. Debate was November 5th. The fuck? They literally put out a 900-page document that said they were going to do all the shit that they're doing. Project 2025.Observer says they're 61% complete with their DOJ objectives, one of which being undoing the consent decrees that related to Breonna Taylor, that related to George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, and Tyre Nichols down in Memphis. So they already know they can do exactly what the fuck they doing. Because who gonna check them? They pulled our punk card in November, and 89 million people stayed home. Donald Trump ran on giving police officers immunity. He said the same shit in front of you, Roland, and BJ. Oh, the one with the water. He never backed down off it. He never lied about what he planned to do. He said it was going to be open season on Black people. When he got in, one of the first things that he did was pardon an officer in D.C. who killed a Black person. His DOJ has been letting cops who have been convicted of crimes out of jail, off the hook. And this is another example of it. Republicans have been saying forever that your Black life doesn't matter. Breonna Taylor was 26 years old when her house was raided based off of a faulty warrant, faulty surveillance, shot into like guns of the Navarone. And this DOJ under Trump has said that her life is worth one day. That's it. That's the trade-off between 60 plus years being taken off her life and the life of a white cop. One day, a minor inconvenience for him. But this is who they told us who they are. This is who they told us what they were going to do. And we allowed it to happen, along with MAGA, who voted for it enthusiastically, along with people who stayed home. We had the capacity to say, hell no, we're not going back. That was Kamala's slogan. We're not going back. And what do? We had lower turnout and lower support for Kamala Harris than even Hillary Clinton got. And I heard super predators a million times when Hillary Clinton was running, and yet Kamala Harris got less votes. So they know that they can do what they're doing. I don't think it's a provocation. It is y'all ain't gonna do shit. And they might just be fucking right.
Nola, when you sit elections out, you get what you get. And for the people who go, oh my God, I didn't think it was going to go this far. I mean, again, you can't say they didn't tell you. They said it. We warned people. Yeah, y'all shilling. Yeah, y'all know who y'all are. Y'all know. If I had to do a roll call of all them Simple Simon Negroes, yeah. If I had to, don't get me started. I could run the tables on Vicky Dillon, Boyce Watkins, Tariq Nasheed, Umar Johnson, Philip Scott. Oh yeah, Black Authority. All y'all. Look at them, they shilling. Look at them, they shilling for the Democrats. They just shield. Yeah, look at y'all just shit. But ask Breonna Taylor, mama, how she feel today. Ask Tamika Mallory and the folks at Until Freedom who literally moved to Louisville, fighting 5 years trying to make this thing happen. Folk who invested time and energy, got COVID, folks was sick and all that sort of stuff. But we listened to a whole bunch of folk, Nola. Yeah, y'all just shilling. Y'all out there, y'all supporting Kamala. She ain't doing nothing. We ain't backing her with. Oh, they were all running their mouths. But it's amazing how silent they are today. They ain't saying nothing, Nola, about Trump screwing those black folks in Lowndes County who got sewage backing up in their houses. They ain't saying nothing about the black folks in Cancer Alley where they canceled the lawsuit who've been dying because of the petrochemical companies there. They ain't saying nothing about the black folks who got screwed for voting rights and housing rights in Texas. Oh, they ain't saying nothing about them. They ain't saying a damn thing about them wanting to get rid of the DBE federal program. They ain't saying nothing about any of this stuff. They ain't saying jack. And these are the same folk who love talking about fight. We're going to have a topic coming up next. They ain't saying nothing how under a Democrat appointee on the FCC changed the damn law when it came to how many folks were getting overcharged for making phone calls in prison. Republicans got in and said, no, we throwing that out. We're just going to discuss that next. I'm sorry. I forgot, Nola. What no tangibles. Yeah, all y'all FBA, B1, ADOS assholes
Well, guess what? All that complaining y'all did, welcome to Trump MAGA America. I hope y'all are having a great time. Nola, go ahead before I go to break.
You know, I have this saying, ignorance is seductive. And there has always existed in our community this kind of contrarian nature for the sake of being contrarian, for the sake of, you know, being performative, for the sake of making a point that isn't really there. But I'm interested in pragmatism. I'm interested in voting for policies that make my life better and that make the lives better to people that I care about. And for whatever reason, those folks who are seduced by, you know, this facade that Trump Republicans, that MAGA folks are open and welcome. They welcome you in. I've heard this several times. And I'm like, wait a minute. So the same group of people who welcome people in during the campaign, and then those same people are on social media saying, oh, look, I went to this event, or look, I'm in this group chat and they're treating me bad. They're calling me names. They're calling me out of my name. So it's just so many very interesting variables when you think about the Black folks who decided that voting for Trump or not voting at all would be the same as. There's a level of conditioning that's happening in many different parts of the internet, in conversations, in group chats, that frankly, that a lot of liberal progressives, whatever you want to call it, Democrats, all the things were just not dialed into. I was at a dinner just a few weeks ago, and there are, you know, these different gatherings of folks in foreign policy, and the glaze over is still there because people are just now starting to realize that we were existing in a bubble. Well, I'm being generous when I say we. As a Black woman, I don't have, you know, I can't exist in a bubble. I have to clear-eyed every single day. But they really were existing in this bubble of progress when all this other stuff was happening in the country. And that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in, what are we missing now? I mean, we're so busy dealing with all the shenanigans every single day from the Trump administration. But what are we missing now? Those same folks, Roland, that you're talking about that are being quiet, what are they doing, though? You know, are they still plugged into this MAGA machine? Like, I'm very curious about this.
They grifting. They grifting. They grifting.
I don't live in that world, so I don't know.
Which is what they were doing. Which is what they were doing before. And I love the Negroes who are like, yeah, we need to be supporting Black-owned businesses, and fools be losing contracts left and right. See, again, I ain't got time for them. And that's why, because normally I ignore these fools. But again, no, it's amazing how quiet they are. And they holler, do for self, do for self, do for self, do for self. Somebody sent me a video of that little fool from Georgia I had on. Somebody posted, they were all like, looking at this young brother, he was eating Roland Martin up. And I'm like, y'all fools ain't realize y'all got played. He came on the show supporting the Republicans of voter suppression in Georgia. He was at the Trump White House dancing at the Black History Month Black program. He had supported Brian Kemp over Stacey Abrams, and he was hollering about, yeah, we don't need no government help. Yet he was trying to get a school building for his school from the government, the school district there. But again, the Simple Simon Negroes fell for the okie doke, not even realizing he was MAGA the entire time. And we have to understand that there are some gullible Black people who fall for folk who come to us who yell do for self, who don't give a damn about our community, but they fronting. But then you got the people who love running their mouths, talking about trying to shame somebody. Yeah, you this and you that, and you a shield, and you supporting Kamala, and you a Democrat. Well, let's see here. If I got a white supremacist who is going to employ a white supremacist like Stephen Miller, and who says to me, I want to give cops 100% immunity, I want to shut down all civil rights programs, I want to shut down all affirmative action programs. if that's on this side, and on this side, I got a black woman who talked about, all y'all Negroes, she said she wasn't going to do nothing specific for black people. What did he say he was going to do specific for black people? But we got a black woman over here who fought for record amounts of money for black contracts through the SBA, HBCU funding, black maternal health, and a host of others. But then y'all Simple Simon Negro said she wasn't black enough. Oh, but we know he white enough and orange, but she wasn't black enough. So if you think that's the choice I had between that fool and her, you goddamn right I was going with her. I would be a stupid fool to say I'm a side with the white supremacists against my people. Man, y'all got me confused.
And Roland, can I just
say
something real quick about her policy? What'd you say?
Real quick, come on. I got my next guest.
I wanted to say specifically about her wanting to help caregivers. Okay, about her wanting to help caregivers. That affects black people. All these folks who think that magically you're not going to age, your parents are going to age one day. And that help that black lady wanted to give y'all going to be wishing for it. Trust and believe. That's all I have to say.
All right, we're going to go to a break. And the next subject we talk about, y'all, has a disproportionate impact on black people and black families and black finance. Oh, but all of the pseudo super conscious Negroes, quiet. Matter of fact, we shouldn't be hollering where the fans at. We should be saying where the conscious Negroes at. Clack, clack. Folks, support Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. You want to contribute to us via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here. Click the Cash App pay button to contribute. You can also, of course, use the QR code for credit cards, checks and money orders, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. Send it to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. PayPal's R. Martin Unfiltered, Venmo RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Back in a moment.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. We look at one of the most influential and prominent Black Americans of the 20th century. His work literally changed the world. Among other things, he played a major role in creating the United Nations. He was the first African American and first person of color to win the Nobel Peace Prize. And yet today, he is hardly a household name. We're talking, of course, about Ralph J. Bunche. A new book refers to him as the absolutely indispensable man.
His lifelong interest and passion in racial justice, specifically in the form of colonialism. And he saw his work as an activist and advocate for the Black community here in the United States as just the other side of the coin of his work trying to roll back European empire in Africa.
Author Cal Rastiala will join us to share his incredible story. That's on the next Black Table, here on the Black Star Network.
This week on The Other Side of Change.
We're digging into the immigration crisis that's happening here right now.
That can impact each and every one of us. We're going to break down the topic of this constitutional crisis that is being led by the Trump administration and what you, as ordinary citizens, can do to speak up and speak out to fight back. This is The Other Side of Change, only on the Black Star Network.
On the next Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, Black women are starting businesses at the fastest rate than any other segment. However, finding the funding to build them is challenging. On our next Get Wealthy, we're going to talk with author Catherine Finney, who wrote the book, Build the Damn Thing. And she's going to be sharing exactly what we need to do to achieve success in spite of the odds.
As an entrepreneur of color, it's first, building your
personal advisory board. I think that's one of the things that's helped me the most. The personal advisory board are the people who are in the business of you personally, and want to see you succeed.
That's right here on Get Wealthy, only on Black Star Network.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Latasha from the A.
And you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Folks, it was a major deal when the Federal Communications Commission capped the cost of prison phone calls. That happened when Democrats had a majority of the FCC. Well, Republicans are now in charge. So, you know what they said? We're going to go ahead and postpone that, at least for a couple of years. So let's keep allowing these companies to make all this money. Mignon Clyburn was the FCC Commissioner who pushed this in a serious way. Took a lot of effort to get this passed. She joins us right now. And this got to piss you off. All that hard work, and not just the hard work. People don't understand how families are being utterly ripped off by these prison phone calls, Mignon.
Roland, first, it's good to be here. It's good to see you, but not for this reason. You're absolutely right. We thought we had done it all. We thought we had checked every box, every complaint people had about the FCC not having jurisdiction because it's a federal agency, and we had no right to tell the state jails and prisons what to charge. What did we do? We lobbied and lobbied in a legal way for an agency, and others got out there and went to Congress and said, please pass a bill. Guess what? Congress passed a bill. And not only did they pass a bill, it didn't give the FCC forever and a day to come up with a series of rules and regulations to rectify this wrong. It said you have up to 2 years to do so. So April 1, these rates went into effect. And June 30th.
And Mignon, what happened here was a small group. I'm reading from the Prison Policy Initiative. I'm going to pull this up in a second to show folks. A small group of sheriffs complained about this, and they got the FCC to do this. And the FCC chair is Brendan Carr, who voted with y'all on this.
He voted to put into place, he concurred in part. He did mention he had some concerns, but yes, he did vote for this direction. And yes, you are absolutely right. Almost out of nowhere, he said, we have issues. There are security concerns. There are issues that honestly, Roland, each and every step we took addressed all of the issues that the people who are complaining now, mostly those who have an economic stake in this, are bringing to the fore. And I just, honestly, I was quiet for a couple of weeks because I was just so devastated over this decision. We did everything by the book. We did cartwheels to ensure that we had jurisdiction. We had an open process that took almost 2 years to let every single person have an opportunity to weigh in, including the sheriffs, including these companies. And we struck a balance just about as perfect as it could get, to have rates as low as 6 cents a minute, to ensure that they weren't bringing in all of these phantom, I call them, unjust and unreasonable charges on top of that. Because keep in mind, some of these companies who are providing these services aren't just providing services for telephone. They're doing the commissaries and the like. And on and on and on, we're seeing this economic exploitation that for one moment, for less than a couple of months, we thought we were in the driver's seat. And here we are, someone who is defying Congress. Congress passes laws, not the FCC, but this person said he's going to put his thumb on the timepiece and said, we up to 2 years, we're going to look at and address the issues that we've been looking at and addressing for more than 20 years, Roland.
So here's what's crazy to me. And again, I'm having issues with my iPad, so I can't pull this up. But it says that in large part, the move is a response to a small group of sheriffs who have lashed out in reaction to its 2024 order. Maybe I can do it now. Here we go. Before the order, companies have been able to offer commissions. Yes. I need people to listen. Commissions and other kickbacks to agencies they partnered with, which drove up the prices of phone calls for consumers. The 2024 order barred companies from offering almost all kickbacks and commissions. Yes. In retaliation, a handful of sheriffs, most notably the sheriff of Baxter County, Arkansas, have said they will no longer offer phone calls at all. So basically, this sheriff says, oh, if I can't get kickbacks for the high phone calls, damn y'all can't call anybody.
And not only that, what's going on, these phone calls have literally been the lifeline. Because you know what also is happening in some of these jurisdictions? Families cannot go and visit. You think you can spend your Sunday afternoon going and visiting some of these communities. Some of these places are barring that. So the only means of seeing or hearing from your family member is either through a video call, which this was going to cap because it hadn't before, or a standard telephone call, usually collect. Now, the people who are paying the price are mostly either those persons who are representing them, meaning the lawyers, mostly their families. And what has been happening as rates got more just and more reasonable over the past few years, this is not our first rodeo when it comes to this. You saw usage rise. When people can afford to do something, they do it. And so you saw more people.
Whoa, Meghan, hold on. You say usage rise. Well, let's show people why. This is, again, from the Prison Policy Institute. These are the numbers, okay? The old phone rate caps. Prisons, 14 cents a minute. Large jails, 1,000 plus, 16 cents. Medium jails, 350 to 999, 21 cents. Small jails, 100, 349, 21 cents. Very small jails, 21 cents. So you see right there, small jails, they were charging 21 cents a minute. The new phone rates were 6, 7, 9, and 12 cents. The new video rate caps were 16 cents, 11, 12 cents, 14 cents, 25 cents. And so here's the reality that people need to understand. So what this means is that your loved one, you got somebody who's in prison. So if they were being charged 14 cents in the old rates, now they're being charged 6 cents. That means, Mignon, they can now call home twice as often.
Exactly. Because
it's now 6 cents. So now if I make 2 calls, well, now it's 6 cents a minute versus 14 cents a minute. And then small jails, it was 21 cents a minute. Then it goes down to 7 cents or 9 cents or 12 cents, depending upon the jail. And what we have is, this is greed. This is sheriffs. This is local jails. They were making a killing off of this. And this is another tax on the families who have loved ones who are locked up in jail. And this is Republicans. This is a Republican-appointed FCC chair in Brendan Carr who made this decision. And as you said, Congress passed a law. So I don't understand how in the hell can Congress pass a law and mandate right here. The effective date was April 1st, and he goes, oh, the hell with Congress.
It's unbelievable.
Y'all ain't got to the hell with the law. I'm going to tell y'all, we don't have to now impose this. This is crazy.
I have never seen anything like it. When I sat on that bench with my colleagues, mostly from the other side of the aisle, you know what they would say to me? I don't tell Congress what to do. Congress tells me what to do. Well, Congress spoke. And guess what? They're not doing what Congress said to do. And I really do not understand this. It boggles my mind. The same people I sat next to who said we are to follow the law, not make the law. We are to interpret it strictly in a manner in which it was presented. And now you say we have problems with some security concerns. We have this concern. We get great complaints. Yes, you're going to get complaints because the structure that everybody benefited from, when I say everybody, I mean the facilities as well as the providers, that is being short-circuited. They are getting rid of those site commissions. You know, I'm being nice when I say site commissions. And now, since they don't have their profit-sharing model, now there's a problem. All of a sudden, there's a problem. And
I want to show this. Hold up, Mignon, I want to show people this, what you're talking about. This is from a previous story in the Prison Policy Institute. Y'all, watch this. The FCC's order takes the momentous step of prohibiting companies from paying most kickbacks, or in the industry's and FCC's terminology, quote, site commissions, to contracting agencies. Commissions, as we have written before, are a major factor driving up the cost of prison and jail telecom services. Counties and states choose their telecom provider based on which one will offer the highest commission payments, and companies offset the cost of paying these kickbacks by raising their rates. The new rules appear to restrict site commissions in all of their many forms, including, quote, donations of free technology or other gifts to the facilities. So basically, these telecoms were saying, hey, we're going to kick some money back to y'all. Y'all pick us. Y'all pick us. Don't worry about it. We're going to make them inmates and their families pay more.
Roland, when we were growing up and hearing about government contracts, and some of your listeners will affirm, especially those in business, you know who got the contract? The lowest bidder. That is what we were accustomed to, because you were supposed to be looking out for our monies. That is clearly not happening here. The lowest bidder loses. And what does that mean? That means families lose. You're talking about, conservatively, 2.7 million children who have at least one parent incarcerated who cannot afford to speak with them. You're talking about, 70 to plus thousand people coming out of jails and prisons each year. And they go home as strangers because during the course of their sentence, they could not afford to speak. This is a problem that is bankrupting families. It is tearing families apart. You ask any teacher, he or she can almost tell you whose parent is incarcerated by the behavior of the child. This is causing incredibly terrible, horrific ripple effects in our communities. People can't afford to keep up their homes, and you see urban blight. People act like they don't know that these cost shifts, these things that are sucking out the economic viability of our communities. This is a glaring example, and to me, this is the biggest case of regulatory malpractice I have ever seen it. I cannot call it anything but regulatory malpractice. You take an oath. Before I go to my panel, Mignon, hold on. Before I go to my panel, I want people to show this here. Before you make that point, I'm going to go to my panel. So this is from the prisonphonejustice.org. I need y'all to understand when Mignon's talking about kickbacks, I need y'all to understand that this is the money. So this is a chart here. This is welcome to the Prison Phone Justice website maintained by the Human Rights Defense Center. Y'all watch this here. Okay, when I scroll down here. So, Federal Bureau of Prisons, no kickbacks. Cost of a 15-minute call is $3.75. Alabama, this is kickbacks paid by families.
Alabama, 3.9 million. Alaska, 1.1 million. Arizona, 8.2 million. Arkansas, 2.5 million. California and Colorado, no kickbacks. Connecticut, 5 million. Look at that. Connecticut, cost of a 15-minute call, $4.87. Florida, 5.1. Georgia, 8 million. Hawaii, 200,000. Idaho, 849,000. No kickbacks in Illinois. Indiana, 1.6 million. Iowa, 677,000. Louisiana, 3 million. Maine, 367,000. Massachusetts, 2.3. Michigan, $9 million. Mississippi, 42,000. Minnesota, 625,000. Missouri, Montana. Look at Nevada, $5 million. North Carolina, $7.6 million. Oregon, 3 million. Tennessee, 4 million. Texas, 6.76 million. Utah, 1 million. Vermont, Virginia, 3.7 million. Washington State, 3.8 million. Those numbers are astounding, Mignon.
And Roland, let me just say this, and I don't mean this wholeheartedly. If those kickbacks / site commissions were going to the benefit, 100% of the benefit of those incarcerated, I might be a little softer. But we need to follow the money. And there's examples after examples of a motorcycle here, something else there, that does not benefit those who are incarcerated. So, look, we've got a broken system that the last administration attempted to finally fix. Now, it took the FCC more than a decade to even move and act. Keep that in mind. The FCC was not fast moving under any administration to do this. What we finally did, it took a number of years, a number of tries, a number of court decisions that did not work in our favor, but we were not going to stop. And even when I left the FCC, I was not going to stop. Now, I am upset, as you can tell right now, but I am not going to stop. This is a wrong-headed decision by my former colleague, and we are going to be out there voicing our opinions and supporting the direction in which this agency should have continued, and hopefully he will get the message and will rescind his pause on justice for those least likely to be able to speak and to stay connected with their families.
Nola, I'm going to you first. Check this out. I'm going back to my iPad, Henry. This is crazy. This is a story that talks about New Jersey. It says 30-minute phone call costs $1.20. A video call costs $9.95. And in New Jersey, they even charge them 35 cents per page to send an email. Nola, that's crazy.
It's insane. And, you know, this administration is notorious for punishing poor people, you know, people that aren't very, very wealthy. As this Epstein stuff keeps rolling out, and this article tonight and the Wall Street Journal, if this, you know, bears out this kind of communication that Trump was having between Epstein, bragging about having everything. And, you know, what do you do in life when you have absolutely everything? These people live in a world that has nothing to do with reality in real life. And honestly, I'm at the point where I believe that this is kind of like their entertainment, that punishing people that are impoverished, punishing people that that need a little extra help, you know, that seems to be their form of entertainment, just like lynchings, when people would gather with their families and they would stand around the tree, take photos, take mementos. It really does feel like that. And you are charging people in prison who are already being punished. And then you're not only punishing them, you're also punishing their families even further. So this kind of like rule by punishment, this is the part of it that I dislike the most. The most vulnerable are being the most harmed, which of course we all knew. And yes, we all tried to tell folks, but here we are. And the thing for me is, what can be done? You know, we're seeing Republicans already trying to play tricks with voting in 2026. What happens if that stands? What recourse do we have then?
I'm curious about, if you can hear me, about Chevron. I'm not an attorney. So that Chevron decision that bears some mention, how can the FCC do this under that doctrine, that was, overturned? Tell me, how can the agency make the decision to pause like it just did unilaterally? I don't understand it. Do the rules apply differently? You can answer that better than me.
It's beyond frustrating, and that's the part of it.
Commissioner Clyburn,
Reese?
I'm curious. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm curious. We have a huge problem in this country with recidivism, and obviously depriving people of outside contact during their service, during their prison term. I would assume increases their likely to recidivate. Do you have any information on that aspect, and how ultimately by penalizing families who have to pay for these calls and penalizing inmates, we're actually increasing the likelihood of people to return to prison?
You're absolutely right. I can get you more specific, but let me give you an example. I was up in Newark a few years ago, and I was going to speak with a number of those incarcerated about what and where they are and how much this meant to them to be in touch. One person did not want to speak with me because some privilegers, were denied that day. But I got a chance to say one or two things to him. And this is what he said, and this was confirmed by those who were responsible for guarding them. They can tell a difference when there is family contact. Not only can they tell a difference, and they see a difference in their behavior inside, it's the children and others on the outside who have that reinforcement that I love you, that they cannot afford and will not be able to afford to do with this pause. That might be another 2 years if the courts are not more friendly. And so, yes, the answer is yes. Anyone in a facility will tell you when those incarcerated are in touch with their loved ones, they can tell the difference. That is hands down. That is not the issue here. The issue here is greed. The issue is insensitivity. The issue is not caring about those on the other side of the economic and political aisle. It is a shame. Mm-hmm. And again, people like me are not going to stop until we get justice.
Greg?
Thank you, Roland, and thank you, Sister Commissioner. Sister Clyburn, you said earlier we should follow the money. And we know that Securus, the prison phone communications company, along with GTL, controls more than 70% of the market for prison calls. And that's a company owned now by the owner of the Detroit Pistons, Tom Gores, whose wife contributed money to RFK Jr. to his campaign when he was running for president. My question has to do with how far you think this goes in terms of a broader ideological project. I say that because your former colleague, and I use that word very loosely, Brendan Carr, of course, wrote Chapter 28 of this document, Project 2025, on the Federal Communications Commission, and telegraphed that he is exactly the type of ideologue that we expect would work with Russell Vought to destroy the federal government, to unify power in the executive, and to unleash the very type of unbridled capitalism that we see at play now. Do you think he was playing in y'all's faces? And do you think that this, along with enriching folks like Gores and others, has been the strategy all along? And at this point, what do you think we should and can do to combat what seems to be a long-range ideological plan?
I will say that the people I know that I served with in the past are very transparent. No surprise. This here. Disappointment, yes, but no surprises. Look, we talked about following the money. We talked about following the influencers. That is the issue here. There are too many people who are quiet because they look at whatever infraction that was committed or whatever happened to land that person behind bars and not the rest of it. And so the insensitivity on that and the greed on the other side and the influence, yes, by a very concentrated, as you mentioned, industry that not only is exploitive, but it doesn't allow for competition. There are a couple of people who look like us who have been trying to offer different alternatives at different price points. Guess what? They've had a heck of a time breaking in. Why? Because of these exclusive arrangements. So exclusivity, honestly, profit sharing on the backs of those who can't afford it the most. And of course, the influence that most people who are related to and who are incarcerated don't have, as permitted and allowed and enabled this uncomfortable storm to keep brewing for almost 30 years. So again, what we can do is go state by state, county by county, because those jurisdictions can make changes. And so while we might have a hiccup or a pause here, that does not stop other states who have not reformed to do so. And we should press on them where we live to make sure that their rates are just and reasonable, and where they are not, we should be advocates close to home, pushing for those sheriffs and others to be reasonable, to be just, and to be compassionate.
All right, then. Mignon Clyburn, we appreciate it. Keep up the fight.
Thank you. Good to see you.
All right, folks. Absolutely. We'll be right back on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
On the other side of change.
We're digging into the immigration crisis that's happening here right now.
It can impact each and every one of us. We're going to break down the topic of this constitutional crisis that is being led by the Trump administration and what you, as ordinary citizens, can do to speak up and speak out to fight back. This is The Other Side of Change, only on the Black Star Network.
I'm Marissa Mitchell, a news anchor at Fox 5 DC.
Hey, what's up? It's Tammy Roman, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Well, now, Donald Trump has been doing all he can to tamp down all of this talk about Jeffrey Epstein. Guess what, y'all? Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal is really about to fan the flames. Check this out. This is what's on their homepage right now. Exclusive. Jeffrey Epstein's friends sent him bawdy letters for a 50th birthday album. One was from Donald Trump. The leather-bound book was compiled by Ghislaine Maxwell. The president says the letter is a fake thing. Now, when you see, according to the Wall Street Journal story, it says that it was a hand-drawn letter of a naked woman, and Trump was called, he was really upset when they published this, and so, and then his name is underneath, and he's just really upset, and he threatened to even sue them. Ain't that something? So let me go ahead right here. This is what they say. It says, the letter bearing Trump's name, which was reviewed by the Journal, is bawdy, like others in the album. It contains several lines of typewritten text framed by the outline of a naked woman, which appears to be hand-drawn with a heavy marker. A pair of small arcs denotes the woman's breast, and the future president's signature is a squiggly Donald below her waist, mimicking pubic hair. The letter concludes, happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. In an interview with the Journal on Tuesday evening, Trump denied writing the letter or drawing the picture. This is not me. This is a fake thing. It's a fake Wall Street Journal story. I never wrote a picture in my life. I don't draw pictures of women. It's not my language. It's not my words. He told the Journal he was preparing to file a lawsuit if it published an article. I'm going to sue the Wall Street Journal just like I sued everyone else, he said. Well, damn, Reese. Is that why his ankles are so swollen?
I don't know what the hell going on. He tried to say something or another I ain't never heard of. The skeletons is spilling out of the closet. This is Republican on Republican MAGA crime because Wall Street Journal is definitely not the kind of place that you would tend to see these kinds of attacks on Donald Trump on. But Donald Trump has long been a degenerate. He has been a sexual, I won't say deviant, I ain't trying to get sued, but he has expressed behavior and committed, and been convicted of behavior related to his sexual activities, consensual or not. And so I don't know that this even necessarily moves the needle with the MAGA crowd, because they like the fact that they have a person in Donald Trump or in Pete Hegseth or in others who have blatant disregard for women, for sexual norms, consent, and who have fealty and nothing but adoration for rich and powerful men. And so this is actually on brand for Donald Trump. I don't even know why he's denying it, because it's part of the brand that put him in the Oval Office.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't understand. I don't understand, Nola, why Donald Big Ankles Trump is so mad.
Leave ankles alone. That looks painful. That looks painful. Leave that man alone. Look.
Matter of fact, if we go, they kept talking about Biden and Trump, who's in better shape. I mean, I take these Joe Biden ankles on top, them Trump's ankles on the bottom.
He can touch the ground, and he can touch the ground.
Go right ahead.
Listen,
go ahead.
This, this kind of whatever this rehab that Christian nationalists tried to do for Donald Trump, and he's very aware of who his constituents are, even though he's basically cussing them out right now, calling them stupid and foolish. He's very well aware of who his constituency is, right? And he understands that this, of all things, that his base is chomping at the bit around this issue. So it's not like he necessarily cares about being perceived as a ladies' man. I mean, he came up in a time where, that was legitimized, and that's who you wanted to be portrayed as, right? But now he understands, oh, wait a minute. This is what's going to crack the cult. This is going to put the crack in the cult. So he's trying to do everything that he can to disassociate, like he does. I mean, he could be palling around with somebody for years and talk about, I don't know that person. Sorry to that man. I don't know you. He's famous for doing that, but he can't do that here because he made campaign promises, many of which he has not kept. But this is the one thing that MAGA seems to be really, really interested in. And so he's going to do everything in his power, because the one thing he also knows is that 26 is coming up and things haven't necessarily gone to plan. So this is the one issue that he's going to spend an inordinate amount of time trying to backpedal his way out of. But this doesn't seem to be going away like the rest of the stuff, like with his little ear and the ketchup or blood, whatever that was supposed to be, like the other stuff that just disappears and go away. This does not seem to be disappearing.
Well, it's not going away, Greg, because MAGA was the one that fanned the flames. Look at this here. Look at Charlie Kirk. This is not how Trump talks at all. I don't believe it. Nah. That's y'all freaky deaky, big swollen ankles fool. We know he was palling around with Jeffrey Epstein, but see, they can't handle it. See, they kept talking about Bill Clinton. Everybody, nah, it's y'all boy. That's not mine. I don't write that. I don't draw it. Hey, guess what, Greg? The Wall Street Journal is owned by Rupert Murdoch. They basically said, dog, we got the goods. Go ahead and try to sue us. Go ahead and try to sue us. And guess what? Trump can threaten all day, Greg. He don't want that deposition.
No. And, it really is an intriguing moment for all kind of reasons. As we are talking here, I don't know what the state of Donald Trump's health is. I don't know what his ankles look like or his wrists. I will, however, take as an article of faith that every word that comes out of his mouth is a bold-faced lie. So I don't know what his health status is. Plus, Peter Thiel and Musk and them have an insurance policy in the Manchurian Candidate Junior Varsity Vance. The question is, can they advance their agenda without their signing pen? Donald Trump. Trump is the reason that these white nationalists who have been engaged in a 60-year project to capture the federal government and beat us back after all those years of black liberation struggle. Trump is their useful idiot, their convenient tool. The question is, can they continue the agenda? As you say, all this stuff is distraction. Russell Vought is running the playbook. Reese laid it out a minute ago. That tracker, that Project 2025 tracker, they are moving full steam ahead. All this is distraction. Now, if Trump dissolves over this, and not because everybody will stop backing him, because again, and I think I agree with Mike Harriet, who was writing on his website, Contraband Camp today. You know, if you think white people simply going to abandon Trump because he lied, then you don't understand white people. They know he's a liar. Now, there's that, but here's the question. If there are enough in that handful in the MAGA formation, the ones who thought that Hillary Clinton was feasting on babies on Connecticut Avenue at the pizza shop next to Politics and Prose, if there are enough of them to stay at home during the midterms, see, that's what Steve Bannon's afraid of. He's saying we could lose 40 seats in the federal legislature. We could lose the election in 2028. He's absolutely right. You don't need everybody. You just need a few. But we know, and you've talked about this, this over this last week, Trump has been calling these quote unquote influencers and saying to them, y'all need to chill. And they haven't responded yet. Alex Jones, of course, broadcasting from his car while he prays that this Sandy Hook thing will go away. Littleface, Charlie Kirk, and all them, Candace Owens, who's basically looking for anybody she can shake down for $3. They haven't fallen in line yet. The real question we have finally in all of this is whether or not this will be enough in an idiocracy like the United States of America that pays no attention to policy and really just does engage in spectacle to undermine their signing pen, their tool. And if it is, this might be the opening we need to take advantage of this. Because I don't trust corporate news entertainment media at all. They're talking about MAGA war, MAGA war. No, these white people are in lockstep. The only question is, you going to shave off enough of the crazies for us to have a little bit of an opening to bust their ass politically in the midterms. That's what we need to be focused on.
Absolutely. Now, y'all, Greg mentioned Trump's hands. They won't explain this. I don't know what the hell that is. I mean, he got jacked up hands. His ankles are swollen. They try to come out today. Well, you know, he's been treated. He's in perfect health. Everything is great. Them big ass ankles ain't perfect health. I don't know what you talking about, but yeah, this gonna be real interesting.
All y'all going to hell.
I'm just saying, no fast food and dead needed. Just get his ankles
I'll be very happy to go. Yeah. If hell is where they're not, then that's just fine. I said if hell is where they're not.
Oh well.
That's just fine. As Elijah Muhammad say, we worried about hell after death. The hell is on earth. Shit. We already in hell. We ain't got to go nowhere. Shit.
You ain't lying.
Hey, look, what
I can't wait.
What happened to young Dan Cameron? They throw their own Negroes away.
Oh yeah, he can't raise no money. He can't raise no money. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, he can't raise.
He can't raise no money.
He can't. They done told him, we don't want your black ass gone. Move along. So yeah, move along. So I just. Listen, you know, it is what it is. Let's talk about them fools in Arkansas, critical race theory. On Wednesday, a federal appeals court handed Arkansas the green light to enforce its classroom ban on teachings about systemic racism and inequality. Y'all, just the same state where they had the Little Rock Nine. The 8th Circuit ruled that students and families can't force schools to teach what the state wants silence, declaring curriculum is up to politicians, not the courts. This decision overturns the lower court's move that blocked the ban. Arkansas's Attorney General is already touting it as a win for voters. But student advocates warn this ruling opens the door to more government censorship in classrooms, shutting down honest conversations about race and history. It's such a trip that Arkansas wants to spend all of his time talking about stuff like this here. I saw this tweet. Hold on, I think it's from Jamel Hill. She was responding to that fool Sarah Huckabee because Sarah was just so excited by this ruling.
Let's see if I can find it. She was like, she's like, girlfriend, why are you getting all excited when you look at the illiteracy rates in Arkansas? And that's the one that just cracks me up the most. No, how these folks, Lord have mercy, they kill me. Like, y'all hollering about systemic racism, critical race theory, when literally you are at the bottom of education stats in America. Y'all got some other stuff y'all might want to be focused on.
You know, what's always been interesting to me about this argument, you know, I went to UCLA for undergrad, one of the homes of critical race theory. And critical race theory for legal education, for higher education is definitely at the college level. And I'm very curious what these folks are actually calling critical race theory. Is it anything about Black people? Is it anything about Black history?
Yes.
Critical race
that's literally
theory?
no, Nola. That's literally Nola. Christopher Rufo literally said that. He literally said it in a tweet. Their strategy was that if anything that comes up that's Black, that's brown or whatever, they want to associate it with critical race theory. And that's why they attacked critical race theory in 2022, woke in 2023, DEI in 2024. So their whole deal is all of it is critical race theory. You're trying to explain that, this is a legal theory. They don't care. Basically, their whole deal is, no, that's them Negroes. Now they can't use the N word. They can't go there. But they're like, all that critical race theory, that's it. Oh, them contracts for critical race theory. End up, no. Oh, fellowships, critical race theory. Hold up, internships, critical race theory. So the strategy is, that's it. That's all they want to do. They want to scare white people.
Right. So here's my rejoinder. Right. Have we not caught on yet? Do we not have a counter to this? Because you just laid out the different. You just laid out a timeline. You know, CRT, DEI.
But that is the counter. But white folks don't want to deal with it. White media doesn't want to deal with this. That's my whole book, White Fear. Okay, I literally had a Black anchor on national television hit me and say, Roland, I would love to have you on my show, but my white producers don't like your title. And my response was, you know, I talk about those same white producers in the book. This is the whole point. I have been personally emailing a couple of white hosts on mainstream television. They don't want to touch it, Nola. They don't want to call a thing a thing. They don't want to say it's all designed to hype up white people. It's other things. It's other. That's what it is. So the reason it hasn't been properly addressed is because white media does not want to talk about it because it's also them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why. It's abundantly clear. Reese is abundantly clear. They don't want to deal with it. This is about whiteness, and they don't even want to use the word white.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, Arkansas, y'all won. Now, what's your prize? Brokies. Like, y'all got child labor that Sarah Huckabee done put up in there. Y'all still gonna lose all kind of Medicaid expansion. All kind of people gonna be kicked off with food stamps and SNAP. After school programs gonna be cut. All kind of infrastructure going to be cut. So what show white people don't have to learn about Black people prize? How is your life better? They rounded up immigrants. Trans people is banned. DI is dead. And you still broke and you still white and you still mad. Congratulations.
Greg?
That part.
Yeah, you know. Okay. We just passed the anniversary of the Scopes Monkey trial. If y'all had to go see Inherit to Win, the play, you know, Williams Jennings Bryan versus Clarence Darrow in the courtroom, all over whether you should teach creationism or evolution in schools in Tennessee. These are theocrats. They are theologians. They are hardcore Christian. I won't call them Christian. They're hardcore religious extremists. Slow-eyed Sarah Huckabee, whose Christo-fascist father was visiting Bibi Netanyahu's trial in Israel yesterday,
He said slow-eyed.
They have, slow-eyed. You know, the eyes kind of slow. It's SLOE, kind of, looking another way. Huckasan, as we call her. She is in Arkansas. These politically and intellectually inbred fools could have had a literal rocket scientist, Christopher Jones, as the governor. They picked Huckasan because they are religious inbred ideologues. They believe that God made heaven and earth in 7 literal days. They believe that they're supporting Israel because they're waiting for the Armageddon to come, followed by the rapture. And they believe that ish. So my point is this. Critical race theory, which, as you said, Roland, and you and Nolan were saying, they can't spell, not even given 3 letters, CRT, which is basically saying the N-word. Before that, it was diversity and DEI. It all means the same thing, the N-word. They want to, and again, following the money, in this BS bill they passed, they just got billions of dollars so they can take their children away from being next to your children and teach them that God made the world in 7 days, or 6 days really, and rested on the 7th, to be technical about it. And all the other foolishness, I'm sorry if anybody's offended, deal with it. Because you're dealing with ideologues and white supremacists who are going to pursue their agenda. Now, the solution to this is what we're doing right now. It's Black Star Network. It's moving forward with self-determining platforms that are very clear, pour clean glasses of water, and have us in real dialogue that will allow us to act collectively. This, as we hear news today, was reported in Variety that CBS is shutting down Stephen Colbert's show in May, and now they shaky worried about Jon Stewart after they wouldn't give Roy Wood the job at Comedy Central. Why? Follow the money. Skydance Media is slated to acquire Paramount, and the guy David Ellison, who leads Skydance, is infatuated, it appears, with Donald Trump. These ideologues have megaphones, and they continue to curate the electorate they need by propagandizing them. And in Arkansas, it's inbred Christian nationalists. Our solution is to have our own platforms where we continue to have work like this and roll over these people like the sea. Stop trying to talk with them because they are worried about something completely different than what you worried about.
And see, here's the thing. To understand the state of mind, I saw this clip. This is Bill Maher talking to John Leguizamo. Okay? This right here says all you need to understand. How even so-called liberal white people like Bill Maher, just listen to this bullshit.
Say, is he a racist or not? He's an 80-year-old, or soon to be a year away from 80-year-old guy whose father was a virulent racist.
Oh, yeah.
And
he marched with the KKK. His father was arrested.
His father was definitely a racist.
And his grandfather was a pimp?
Like, of the times. Like, the people are a product of their times. He is a product of his
but some of us overcome our times.
Yeah, exactly. That is absolutely true.
He hasn't overcome that.
That is true and fair to say. But he's not on the level of racism that
Stephen Miller is. No, nobody's at the level of Stephen Miller's racism, and who's the architect of all this mass deportation. Grew up here in Santa Monica with Latinos, and I guess they bullied him, and he's got a chip on his shoulder over that.
See, here's why I crack up with, he's a product of his times. I'm sorry, were there no non-racists when Trump was born? I mean, I love it when they say the same thing about the period of slavery in the country. I'm sorry. Do anybody remember who this guy is? I mean, I don't know, maybe, but I'm just kind of saying, this guy right here, name was John Brown. I guess he wasn't a product of his time. I guess, Greg, there were no white abolitionists. I guess there were no members of churches who said this thing is wrong. I guess there were no white people who met in the office of William Trotter's The Guardian in Boston when they created
the Niagara movement, which actually led to the creation of the NAACP. I guess those white people were not living in the same time as Trump's dad. So to Bill Maher, no. We can excuse the racism because, you know, he's a man of his time.
Yeah. Well, Bill Maher has been a soft white nationalist. It's funny, isn't it, Roland? It's funny, isn't it, y'all, how when these folk, and I give Donald Trump this, absolutely. He has an eye for the type of visual you need to rally your troops. The people he has curated around him absolutely came from central casting if you're talking about a hillbilly horde. As Bill Maher ages, he looks more and more like his politics. He should be sitting somewhere on a couch, on a veranda in Miami Beach, with unvarnished racism coming out of his mouth, because he's a soft white nationalist, and he's always been. His sunglasses are getting a little darker. At some point, the N-word will be used a lot more freely. And John Leguizamo, who has had politics that have been decent at some point, but at other points, you know, his kind of white adjacent Latinx identity has allowed him access into the periphery of some things. It's quite to be expected that they would dance around the issue. But ain't nobody gonna deal with what you dealing with, Roland, which is why you had to build your own network. John Brown was in Kansas. In Arkansas, they had something called arsenic. What was that? That was Arkansas SNCC, which had white folk in it. They fly in the face of the very type of solidarity politics that prevailed in the civil rights movement, that said we're gonna put working class interests together, that led to the rise of the Rainbow Coalition, whether you want to call it with Fred Hampton in Chicago or Jesse Jackson and Push in the wake of Operation Breadbasket, as you have walked us through countless times. But ultimately, it all comes down to this. Bill Maher still has a show on HBO with increasingly fewer viewers. You get rid of Colbert, you might get rid of Jon Stewart, but guess what? More people right now are watching Gil's Arena, watching basketball talking shows. Stephen A. Smith then signed another $11 trillion contract with Sirius while he's vomiting all over the airwaves. And in all of that noise, you got a few people punching. You got you punching Black Star Network. You got what Tiffany Cross and them are doing with their podcast. What is it? Native Land Pod. You got people trying to put together tours like what they did with this kind of going around the country, this listening tour, this For the People Power tour. And we're this close to linking up. But you know what the metronome has been in all of this? It's been the Black Star Network. This is the one that comes on day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year at this point. And we have to punch through this noise at this point, because if we don't punch through this noise, people are going to be watching basketball podcasts and YouTube, while these people are stealing everything off your body and leaving you butt naked in the street, scratching your head, talking about what happened next. But the ideologues are clear. We have to be clear. We just got to continue to remain focused.
I love this here. This is this cracks me up. No, you have to go. You can comment on this and then go ahead and bounce. You know, he was a man of his time. Fred Trump, Donald Trump's dad, was born in 1905. This white guy I'm about to show right now, he was born in 1911. I'm sorry, his name is Hubert Humphrey. Born same time. Nola had to go. I appreciate that. Reese, born around the same time, but civil rights believer, significant advocate. So I love this. He was a product of his time, as if there were no white folks then who were not violent, racist, and who, against Bill Maher, all white people marched for the Klan. Yay!
Well, this is a thing where people like to do, where they like to normalize and sanitize white nationalism and racism. First of all, it's fuck Bill Maher. He ain't shit. So, of course, he's going to side with Donald Trump, because on any given day, he sounds just like him. So I don't do this thing with white people who try to gaslight you about racism and try to act like they don't know what it is when they know damn well what it is. You just don't give a damn. But instead of saying, I don't give a damn about racism, you got to sit up there and try to act like you're educating or you're schooling people on what it is. Go to hell, Bill Maher.
I mean, I just sit here and just laugh when these idiots do that. All right, y'all, we got to bounce. Nola wanted to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. Folks, on July 17th, Nola and Katie Fang, that's, of course, today. They're going to be honoring John Lewis right here. If you go to momsrising.org with the Persist Network, so they're doing this right now. So that's where she is headed. So you can check out Katie Fang and Dr. Nola Haynes as they honor the late Congressman John Lewis. And so, again, momsrising.org and on the Persist Network, so check it out. All right, folks, that's it. Let me thank Nola, let me thank Reese, let me thank Greg for being on today's show. Appreciate that. Tomorrow, folks, I'm broadcasting live from Philadelphia, the site of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated National Convention. So we will be on the ground there. Looking forward to being in Philadelphia. So can't wait. And so we're good to see the brothers there. All right, y'all, that's it for us today. I got to bounce, but don't forget, if you want to support the work that we do, join our Breonna Funk fan club. You want to give via Cash App, please do so. Here's the Stripe QR code. You can give via Cash App via this. You can use the Stripe QR code for credit cards as well. Checks and money order and make them payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. Send to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Download the Black Star Network app. Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Be sure to get my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds. Available bookstores nationwide. Get the audio version I read on Audible. Folks, don't forget, you can also, before you do that, you can get our gear. Get our Roland Martin Unfiltered gear, mugs, hats, T-shirts, all that good stuff. Go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. Come to my iPad, please. You'll see it right here. If you go to the website, you're going to see all of our stuff right here. It's called the Unfiltered Collection. And so you see everything there. We got hats, all kinds of stuff. That's on the website, so you will see it. In addition to, you go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. These are all the black-owned products that we carry on the website as well. So we want y'all to do that as well. So check it out. Get our products and get these other black-owned products right here at shopblackstarnetwork.com. Don't forget, you can also download the app Fanbase. And if you want to invest, simply go to startengine.com/fanbase. Startengine.com/fanbase. That's it. Hey, all y'all people on YouTube, why y'all hit the like button? I don't understand. 1,000 of y'all watching. We only have 1,400 likes. Y'all hurry up, hit the like button. We should be at 2,000 easy. I understand y'all playing around. You playing around. So I'm going to show y'all again. If you want to get our products, there's a lot of stuff you can get of our merchandise. And so you can get that. And so please do so. You can get our T-shirts, all of our shirts. And, of course, you can get Don't Blame Me, I Voted for the Black Woman. You can also get FAFO 2025 with Project Crossed Out. And so you can get MAGA chose between woke or broke. They chose broke. Get all that sort of stuff at shopblackstarnetwork.com. All right, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow from Philadelphia. Holla! Time for True Talks.